Start. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gospel of Comics. I'm your host, the Church of Failure, and with me, as always, is the co-host Eric McCartney. Let me just.
Cheers.
I finally got your name right. So
It's been 28 years. My grandpa couldn't even say it right.
as well, we have a pretty interesting show for you planned. And we're flying by the seat of our pants here, so just work with us a little bit here.
And we're both exhausted, so this is going to be the most low energy show talking about dinosaurs you've probably ever heard.
I don't think so. Maybe from you. I'm very excited about what we're going to talk about. I have some speeches. I have some rants.
Oh shit! Watch out, everybody!
I got some knowledge bombs to drop on y'all, motherfuckers. We're also testing out a little bit of new software today. Not really software, but just a new kind of setup to make it easier on me, so I don't have to spend an hour and a half setting these shows up, individually selecting images and things like that. So, I guess with that, Ayrton, would you like to let everybody know what we're doing this week?
We are doing. Shit, I forgot the name of the segment.
All right. Well, that's fine because actually, before we get there, the reason we're both exhausted today, the Dead Man has just, I believe, just completed his 24-hour live stream, and we were on there.
Crazy son of a bitch.
We were on there from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. Actually, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern, where we spoke about things that we wouldn't eat. We talked about kaijus. There was clapping up one's rectum. It was a very exciting and degenerate time. So once he gets some sleep and gets a replay up, I'd say in a good 3 or 4 days, you should probably go over to the Dead Man's Tome channel and check that out. Anyway, the name of the segment we're doing this week, Ayrton, because you're always so ever prepared. Is pick a publisher. We have a list. We have a list of 13 independent publishers ranging from Image, Dark Horse, Action Labs, Alterna, Boom Studios, Dynamite Comics, IDW, Titan, Top Cow, Oni Press, Valiant, Wildstorm, and Zenoscope for you guys that like the cheesecake. We assign a number to each one. We put it into our random generator, and whatever the random generator gives us, we go into the library for that particular publisher. We find some books we want to look at, and we showcase them.
So today is Dynamite Dinos. I remembered that part.
It's Dynamite Dinosaurs. We have 3 stories today, all of which contain dinosaurs in some form or fashion. Very different stories, but I believe we're going to start out by looking at...
He believes, and I'm the unprepared one.
What now? No, I believe it because I believe it because it's true. I'm a religious institution, Ayrton. Don't mock me. Anyway, I believe we're going to start with Dinosaurs versus Aliens, if that's all right with my co-host. Did you actually read this one?
I did. I read all of them.
All right, awesome. I thought a couple of them were going to be longer than they were. I was actually a little disappointed in this one not being any longer than it was.
Super short.
It was only 3 issues, but I believe
Yeah,
it.
I got to the end and I was like, this is it.
This is a very interesting addition to the show because I believe it was actually. I keep saying that. You got me on a fucking tangent of it now. This comic, if I'm not mistaken, was created by Liquid Comic Studios and published by Dynamite. Written by Grant Morrison and Barry Sonnenfeld. Sonnenfeld. Um, the artwork is by Mukesh Singh, and that is my absolute favorite part of this book.
Yeah, the art's fantastic.
So, where do you kind of want to start off with this one? We'll just kind of go into the first issue and explain what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's see here.
Come on. So I'm trying to dead air.
Dead air. I mean, do you need me to? Do you need me to start us off here? Um, Basically, the story is an allegory for a colonists versus natives in the colonization of America. But it's used as a plot device for aliens representing colonizers and dinosaurs representing the native tribes that occupy America. So we're introduced to the two main players. We've got an alien species on a ship that is floating towards what they call the blue planet. Their engines are failing, their rations are running out, their people are dying left and right.
They've been migrating for what they say, like 5 generations,
Something like that, yeah.
I
And
believe.
every generation they get weaker, and eventually they lost the ability to procreate. So, I mean, it's kind of dire for them to find somewhere that they can set up shop and figure out how to make babies again because they're growing them in test tubes. Um, the
Not as
dinosaurs
much
on the
fun as the old-fashioned way.
yeah the you got that right. That's how you end up with 3 kids before you're 35. Or like Rackets, you end up with 5 kids before you're 40. But moving on. The dinosaurs in this story aren't like your typical prehistoric dinosaurs. They have personalities. It seems they have decorative tattoos. They have war paint. They have tools, things like that. They wear like headdresses and
Armor.
right. So we off the top we see that it's a little on the nose with the allegory. So I'll give you that. But Grant Morrison's typically always like driving the point home. He doesn't want you to miss the subtlety.
What subtlety.
Exactly. I like Grant Morrison though, so we gotta stop reading things that make me want to shit talk him. Like I like Grant Morrison's work, I really, really do. It's just I don't know what it is with the last 2 things I picked up that were written by Grant Morrison that just were not his best writing. Well, I mean, this wasn't even bad writing though. I mean, but
No.
it's just not a
Yeah.
lot of writing.
Yeah, and it's kind of, there's a lot of kind of fill in the blank, I felt, going through it.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a lot more of kind of like looking at a picture book and kind of like
right,
working the scenes out in your head, because of that. Because the entire story's told from the perspective of the aliens,
right. Well,
or a specific alien general or something.
One Eye. Oh no, no, no. You're right. One Eye is the dinosaur. Let
Yeah,
me.
so it's told through his perspective, kind of explaining where their species is at, and then finding the planet and encountering the dinosaurs, and kind of working through like, oh, these are just savage beasts, and then it, it's an interesting concept, but as you can see in this page here, it's very
It's very light on
kind
the
of
writing. The
Yeah,
art
very fill in the
carries the
blank.
story. Well, the art carries the
It
story, I
does.
think.
It does.
Because you can literally look through the book and you can see like the little micro expression, not micro expressions. That's a term I picked up off of a TV show. But you can see like the facial expressions of the dinosaurs. You can see how they're poised, what their body language is reading like. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
something that's forgotten a lot of times in a lot of modern comic books. Because I don't know if you know this personally, but there are a lot of comic books out there that are all art. There are no words, and they're full
I
graphic
did not know that.
novels. Yeah, um, like the
I mean,
art tells the
if
entire
it's
story.
done, yeah, if it's done well, because I'm not trying to trash it.
No, no.
This was done. This was done very well.
Right.
It just it took me a few pages to kind of catch on to how it was written.
Well, when we get to the end of the show, I think I'll make a statement about an allegory between not an allegory, a comparison between this and the Greatest Adventure and the difference in the two types of storytelling.
Yeah.
I guess I could already make it. I mean, I need to set something up anyway, so it'll be a good minute of filler.
Yeah. Why
But
not?
what I'm getting at is when you have stories that are word heavy, you know, you have a tendency, I guess, would be the right word, to see them as what's the word I'm looking for? Just cumbersome. You know, when you have to read a novel in a
Yeah.
comic book, it's kind of a turnoff to a certain subsect of the audience. I'm not necessarily within that subsect of the audience. I I understand. You know, I get it, but at the same time, it's hard to chew up some of this stuff, especially if you don't have breaks within like full page spreads or just large full panel
Right.
scenes. And the first couple of issues of The Greatest Adventure, I mean, it's like reading the introduction of a novel.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you'll see why it needs to be when we get there. But with this, you have so much more time to sit there and stare at the artwork and just examine all the minute details, all the work, the color, the shading, just the expressions, the little added spit bubbles and breaks in the eggs and stuff like that. All the noises that the dinosaurs make tell the story,
Yeah.
and I find that pretty fantastic.
Oh yeah. Once I kind of got into the flow of it, I enjoyed it. Just that little bit, I was like, man, what
Yeah,
what's going on? Oh, okay. It was that was kind of the first couple pages for me, at least, reading it.
right. There we go. That worked out a little better than I thought it would.
See, now, like this shot here, like, yeah, you don't need words for this.
No, the alien ship once it finally reaches Earth, it makes this loud calls or whatever, and with that, it summons every dinosaur in the area. I mean, even warring factions are standing side by side, staring in awe at this giant disc that's blocking out the sun.
Yeah, and just like looking just at the detail, a little bit on the nose for the whole native colonizer allegory, but the the design of the headdresses and the armor, and if you should we call it armor? I don't know.
I mean, I think so.
Okay. Um, And even in the previous shot, you can see that the chief, if you will, has the Triceratops skull tied like around his top jaw to hold it in place. Like the little details really do make it amazing, and the fact that they're kind of honing in on this group of dinosaurs watching it come in is real nice, because we're kind of introduced to them as kind of more of the, I guess, like the Apache Indians, very very war-esque, a little bit more conquering versus the other
You,
factions of dinosaurs in the area,
you mean kind of like the Aztecs?
or Aztecs. Yeah.
Okay. Just don't appropriate my culture, bro. Look, I am biologically a dinosaur.
I thought you were an establishment of worship.
I am that too. I am also a shoe. Those are my pronouns. Shoe, church, dinosaur. Please respect that.
I'll try my best, but I am a bigot.
All right. Yeah, of course you are. Anyway, we'll just move right along into chapter 2.
Yeah, not much else really to say about chapter 1.
um, well, yeah, I mean the story goes really quick. If I could show you every page of this artwork, I would literally do a stream of just that for 2 hours, because just
Oh
scenes
yeah,
like this are amazing. I mean, it's amazing.
that's
But
amazing.
this is the beginning of their plot, and essentially what happens is the alien invaders are looking to drop drones into the area to survey the land. So that's what they do. Well, eventually one of these drones kills one of the dinosaurs, and that pretty much starts the whole debacle. You have aliens that are technologically advanced and whatnot, but you have the dinosaurs that have overwhelming numbers. Again, it's right on the nose of the Native Americans being conquered and colonized, but that literally what it says in the preamble, that they wanted to write a story about using the allegory of dinosaurs and aliens. So you can't hate on them for it if you read this and you don't read the you don't read the intro, because this, I believe, was only put out as a graphic novel. No, there were issues, weren't there? Maybe.
You're the one that's
To
supposed to
the
know that
Google.
part.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Ayrton decided a long time ago he was just showing up for the ride.
I thought that was decided when you for some reason decided to bring me on as your co-host.
Hey, you said you wanted to be on Twitter. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
So what's the Google telling us?
The Google is looking for the wiki on this book, because that's the only source that I halfway trust. And not the fandom wiki. I want the real wiki. Alright, we're going to have to use the fandom wiki.
Wait, wasn't that it at the bottom?
No, that was Grant Morrison.
No.
And Monsters versus Aliens.
You're scrolling fast.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a 3-chapter graphic novel. So this may have never been put out in issues, and if that is the case, then the graphic novel is set up with a preamble letting everybody know what this story is about. And if you don't want to read an on the nose story about colonists versus natives, then just don't read any of the words in the book and look at the pretty pictures, because the pictures are gorgeous. I mean,
Yeah.
this is, I believe, most.
I mean,
Why do I keep saying I believe? I believe. Anyway, I don't feel bad comparing this art, even though I think it might be predominantly digital art. I don't feel bad comparing this to the style of someone like Alex Ross. You know who that is?
I feel like if I say no, you're going to scald me, but if I say yes, I would be lying.
Okay, Alex Ross is a very hyper realistic artist. I'll pull something off screen. This will be a preview of what we'll cover when we get to artist spotlight. Keep talking while I do that. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Sorry, I thought you were going to have that up a lot faster.
uh,
Yeah, that's one of the things I never really paid attention to, like, writers and artists.
you you
I
just
don't I don't
roboted,
really
but
know. I don't really
that's
know why.
that that's Alex
Oh.
Ross art right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Am I coming through better now?
yeah, but that's Alex Ross art. He's got the hyper realistic, very portrait type feel.
Yeah.
But I would compare this guy to Alex Ross in that regard.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the second chapter, like we said before we get too far off track, it really just had the invasion happening, and there are some issues with some things that happen, like the dinosaurs fight back against the invaders, and it just doesn't go well for the dinosaurs because, well, even these little drones are equipped with weapons dinosaurs haven't seen. I think one even vaporizes his brain. Or is that in the next
Yeah,
issue?
it's
That's the next issue. Or the
is
next
that the next
chapter.
issue
Yeah, it's the next chapter. This
or
this whole
chapter?
three thing literally reads like one issue of a comic book if you want to be completely honest about it. Like this was
Yeah,
like one deluxe issue of a comic instead of a graphic novel or a volume of comics. So it's really easy to read. It's really palatable. And if you love great artwork and an interesting story that you're going to have to go track down a TV show to watch to get the rest of it, then this is it. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I can say about it. We'll go through the third issue, but
yeah.
I mean, it ends with to be continued. So, there's really not a lot to take in on it. Like, people just start fighting good, and it's just like, now to follow for the TV show. And I'm like, I hate everything about this. The most disappointing part about this is the story is just so short. You only get like the intro to it. It's like a teaser.
Yeah,
But
you know, cock
he,
tease of a comic book.
right. Um, but it's so beautiful. Like
It is.
that's what I keep coming back to. The colors, the artwork, just everything about this book is absolutely beautiful. The paneling,
Yeah, the shading, the lighting.
the way the paneling works and sequential story, like
Yeah.
the six panels right here that you just go boom, 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 and you know exactly what just happened. You don't even get that in most Marvel comics. If you took the words out of some panels in Marvel comics, it would just be like,
Oh, you'd
what
be
the fuck
so
is going on?
confused.
But that's pretty much the end of chapter 2. So let's uh, let's get into chapter 3, which is the best chapter, arguably. You get introduced to the Darth Vader squad, the actual invading aliens. So
Yeah, are they supposed to be like tentacle porn monster
yes,
aliens?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, they look like Darth Vader. They had the high ground at one point, but they gave it up. Um, you got the mosquito guy in the background, or the cricket guy, whatever.
Yeah, I do really love the design for these aliens.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, the artwork is bar none. Nothing like nothing in comics today. Like, you don't get this kind of artwork in a weekly comic because of the deadlines and whatnot.
Yeah.
We're a little ways away. I got let's go ahead and
Oh,
flip some
you're
pages
moving
here.
fast. I don't know where we're at.
It's okay. We'll get there. Just
Okay.
just pay attention.
I'm trying.
Do better. Yeah. I thought you watched the stream on a side channel. But anyway, moving on. we we kind of move into where the aliens themselves send down parties, and this is where you realize that the aliens are equipped with things that will allow them to like vaporize an animal's brain in a second.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I had to actually read that line like twice. I was like,
yeah,
wait, what did that say?
right. So, um, I mean, there's a whole exchange where you have the aliens trying to convince themselves that chapter three is the most wordy part of the entire book, so it takes the longest to read, but you still can finish this whole thing in less than an hour. Like, and
Oh,
that's
I'd say depending on how in depth you go analyzing every single panel, you could probably read it in 15 minutes.
oh well. I mean, yeah, you can read every word in the thing in 15 minutes, but you won't have any
That's why
clue
I
what the.
said. That's why I said read.
All right, you're fired. Done with you.
I already got fired this week.
Oh, have I rehired you yet?
Apparently.
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to do the show alone. You're still fired when I find somebody better. I'm kidding, folks.
That
My,
that's assuming we don't get banned before that.
oh, I'll just have the synagogue of failure make a YouTube channel.
Yeah, you're good buddy,
My brother, actually.
brother.
Yes, he's one of the
I would have
chosen
thought
people.
distant cousin. I would
No,
have thought
he
distant cousin, but
half brother.
oh, okay. And then is the mosque of failure? Is that the redheaded stepchild?
Yes, yes, adopted.
Okay, adopted.
um. Anyway, goodbye YouTube channel.
I'll
you
disavow myself.
you get some pretty interesting scenes in this third book, even though it's the most wordy of the three. You've got the aliens realizing that the dinosaurs aren't just going to like bend to their whim, um, and they just keep trying to convince themselves, oh, this will be a cakewalk, and everybody's like, well, there's millions of them. What are you going to
Yeah,
do?
yeah. There's millions of them, and there's like 30 of us.
But you come to find out that the actual reasoning for this is because they need to be able to reproduce, so they're trying to find something with genetics that are compatible with their own. And they find it in the mammal that they saved earlier. They're not
Yeah,
compatible with the reptiles, but they're compatible with the mammals. So if I were to venture a guess, and this is just me, and I want you to tell me if if you feel the same. If I were to venture a guess, this story is actually winding up towards the creation of human beings.
yeah. That's kind of where I thought it was going.
Okay, that's where I can see that. I've never seen the ancillary material. This is the first I'd ever heard of this. It was one of the first titles that Ayrton looked at when we were looking through Dynamite Publishings, and he was like, "I want to read that," because apparently my co-host is a 7-year-old.
12, thank you very much.
Oh man, but no, I mean, all in all, this is a great read. It's quick. It's something fun that you can go through and you can go back through and see stuff that you missed the first time. There, you'd spend days analyzing all the artwork and just looking at all
Oh
the
yeah.
finite detail and appreciating it for what it is. There are characters in this book, um, and I'm gonna pull that up next. I took a couple of shots of bourbon, but that's not the point. I took a couple of screenshots of the actual scripting pages that they put at the end of the book.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
So I'm gonna see if I can dig those up real quick, just to kind of give everybody a look into how comic books are written and scripted.
Now, is that a thing like Dynamite does in their comics? Because that was in
Turok as
one of the
well.
other ones too.
It was in
Yeah,
Turok as well, and I'm thinking it might have been in Bill Willingham. Um, I'm not sure if it's something that they do necessarily, but it's something a lot of comic publishers or comic people will do in larger releases of digital comics and stuff like that, just as bonus material to give you a reason to purchase it. Um,
gotcha.
let's just talk for a minute about. See, remember when I told you I had rants? I'm glad
Yes.
you asked that question because I've got one. Let's just talk. Let's just talk about a minute
hold
of the
hold
shape.
on. Let me put my 4-point harness on.
All
All right,
right, all right, all right.
go.
Let's just talk to you a minute about how many times they want to sell you the same damn comic book. If you buy a single issue and it's part of a 6-page story arc, well, then they're going to
Hmm.
bind that 6-page story arc together in a trade and try it selling to you that way. And then once they get 2 or 3 of those out, they're going to put them in a hardcover and sell that to you too. And then they're going to re-release it in a giant volume that has one story that you don't have in your collection already, and sell that to you too.
That's why I just buy the trades or the full stories.
Well, most people just buy one format of comic book or another.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's abject marketing. That's why I have a lot of respect for graphic novels that are released as graphic novels and not miniseries. Because once you release it as a miniseries, then it becomes published 6 different times, and there are completionists out there that will buy every print of something. I've done it.
I I mean, as a staunch capitalist, people are willing to pay for it.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, at a certain point, it becomes excessive.
It does. I will give you that.
You know, I just at a certain point it becomes excessive, and you're really just paying for the packaging.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all for putting out something like Doug TenNapel knocked it out of the park with Bigfoot Bill. And yes, he's gonna resell it later on as probably a different version. Like I believe this was a hardcover. It had gold leaf inlay, but he didn't put it out as individual issues and save that hardcover with gold leaf inlay to sell for $1,000 later on. That's just what he put out. You know? Well, I mean, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get it. I
It just ugh.
just playing a little devil's advocate.
No, I got you. I agree. It's just all right. So, what would you like to move to next?
Well, I think Torok would probably be a good segue because it's kind of got that a similar kind of premise.
Well, um, oh, there's also the artist sketchbook, and I'm just going to show a couple of extra features on here to get my bearing again. But well, I mean, we're only about a half hour in, so we're making good time, especially to do the greatest adventure last. Okay, that's where I thought we were.
Yeah.
But just there's all kind of sketchbooks. So this did start out as pencil sketches. It wasn't just like digitally painted or anything like that. This is even if it's a pencil sketch digitally, it's still a pencil sketch. I mean, I am an advocate for that. Just because, like, do you think that if you play an electric guitar instead of playing an acoustic guitar, you're not making music?
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people give digital artists a lot of undeserved hell for the same thing.
Yeah, it's I guess to put into musical terms, it's a different tone to the art.
Right. Well, and we actually talked about that before. While I load Torok up, we talked about that this weekend with what was it? Just I was making some comparison of comic books and music, or art and music. I don't remember what it was. I drink
Was
too
that
much.
was that off air?
Yeah, it was off air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You think I remember all of our off air conversations?
I remember the terpene conversation. uh, oh man,
Put some knowledge in your head, son.
that's right. Um, yeah, because there's obviously no room for anything I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, I'm paying attention.
Are you?
I'm just I'm forgetful.
It's gonna take a second to get this loaded up and changed over. So while
All
I
right.
while I do that, why don't you kind of what were your thoughts on dinosaurs versus aliens? We'll kind of go through these.
Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was a real fun story. I was kind of confused at the ending.
Well, it was a to be
Like I meant,
continued
like
book.
yeah, like I mentioned, I was like, wait a second, what? And then that first little bit, I didn't realize that it was more of a visual storytelling of it. So it kind of took me a minute to kind of get my bearings on the flow of the story. But after I kind of got into it, I really enjoyed it. The art was fantastic. Kind of that, I guess, going back to that just single narration behind the story, I thought was a very good way of doing it. Kind of seeing this character, that's aliens, kind of back and forth with himself. Like, wait, are these creatures so different from us? Like
Right.
they need to eat and drink and care for their nests. I think is one of the lines
Well,
actually directly from that.
that's the same. It kind of looped back around because it's something they said in the first issue is that we all do the same things for the same reason at some point in time.
Yeah. And kind of having that singular kind of narration from that character. I really enjoyed that, seeing his it's Z's back and forth as these different events were progressing.
All right. Um, well, this is again a collaboration project. It is Turok Dinosaur. I'll I'll just kind of move on now, not to just break
Yeah.
break it right there. Turok Dinosaur Hunter, written by Greg Pak with art by Mirko Kolak, I guess is the name, and Corey Smith. Uh, this is a very fun comic book. Not
Oh
fun,
yeah.
and not fun in the sense of this is
Well,
a great time, but this is a
yeah.
very
It's not like Disney whimsical fun.
no. This is brutal, just graphic fun.
Yeah.
Um, starting with issue one, where we're introduced to what's his name? I hate forgetting characters' names.
Yeah. The
Torok, that's it. That's his name.
oh the
The main character. His name is
oh
Torok.
okay.
I
Yeah.
remember playing the Turok games. I didn't. ever make that connection. But we open up to obviously just some really bad situation with the main character that we just get a flash of. Like it immediately comes to a peaceful and serene setting. Um, you have you have a murder and people are running and chasing, and then the two people are hiding, and Turok is just a baby with his father. And then
And it hits so fast too.
right. So then you switch over to Turok being alone 16 years later. So he's apparently got a pet lizard. I thought that was pretty awesome. But
Yes, I did enjoy that.
all of the people, excuse me one second, I'm going to cough.
Okay. While he's coughing, one thing that I liked about this comic is just from the cover and the title, I thought it was going to be kind of a like 10,000 BC sort of like humans and dinosaurs living together kind of story. And they're and
Okay.
it's kind of, but they do
Well,
a
it's not.
real interesting.
It's a twist. They're the Shyamalan
Yeah,
twist.
they do, but it's actually clever, not
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, let's see if I can go ahead and
What?
find that.
No.
Yeah,
What are you finding?
Oh no, that's a little further in. So let's get to the
Yeah.
let's get to the main part of the story first. Turok is not very well liked by his peers.
Sounds like
Turok,
me on this show.
well, I mean, you could do better. Not lying, but no, Turok he's not very well liked, and he ends up catching the ire of his tribesmen, and everyone keeps calling him Witch Boy, and you eventually find out that his parents are supposedly murderers and killers and snakes. They say they're snake people. And Turok's like, you're so full of shit. But he keeps getting his ass beat by the other kids in the camp. They beat his ass and take his fish, and then leave him passed out, and then they go wreck his camp. And it's just generally all around just a shit show.
Yeah, and he doesn't actually live with the rest of the tribe. He kind of lives off on his own in the woods because
Yeah.
he's kind of like I don't like you guys. You guys are dicks.
Right. And I mean, they eventually exile him, and they destroy his camp and all that good shit. And he's like, you're all gonna die tonight. And they're like, what are you even talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about. And he's like, no, it's a fact. You're all gonna die tonight. And as they turn back around, you realize that a couple of the kids that were screwing with him were attacked by a large pack of dinosaurs.
Which I'll have to say, the actual art of the dinosaurs aren't as cool as
The design,
dinosaurs
though.
versus aliens, but yes, the design is fantastic.
Well, considering it's not supposed to be on the nose for being Native Americans, yeah, it's pretty awesome because they definitely give them like more feathers and
Yeah.
stuff and pay homage to the idea that we've recently discovered that most dinosaurs descended from birds or birds descended from dinosaurs or something.
Well, and that most dinosaurs like did have feathers, not scales.
Right. I wish they had scales, so that would make it cooler.
Which, did you see that story where scientists accidentally cloned like a chicken with dinosaur teeth?
No, but I kind of want one of those
I just want to know how you accidentally do it. That's my
now.
real question.
How do you accidentally a Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I mean, between that and them putting human DNA and monkey brains and the AI robot that wants to kill humanity, I mean, we're all fucked at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
So you might as well watch our show.
Oh, wait, no,
It's
don't look at the screen right now, people. Don't look. That's a spoiler.
so
Um,
many tabs.
so many tabs. I'm just testing this stuff out. I will get the hang of it, and it will work better. Um, I do not I do not mean to infringe on any copyright. I do not believe that it is possible to read the text on the screen because it's not possible to read the text on my OBS very well.
And I can't read it on the screen share, so
I'll take a look at that. I don't even think anybody's watching right now, but I will get this together. Um, oh no, we have 4 people watching now. Oh, hi guys.
oh, nice.
Nobody's in the chat, so I assumed we
What the
just
hell,
had that.
guys?
I just assumed we didn't have any viewers. But no. Anyway, in this story, like I said, you have the dinosaurs that attack, and Turok is saving his cousin, even though his cousin was trying to kill him earlier that day. They discover that the dinosaurs seem to have crosses like branded on them, and after Turok kills a few of them with a trap that he intended to use to kill his cousin and his friends earlier, because that's the implication you get, right? We're just gonna murder everybody.
Well, his cousin just outright says it,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah,
Like, you were gonna kill us, weren't you?
yeah,
And he just kind of looks at him and turns away.
yeah. But the big Shyamalan twist here is that it's apparently the Holy Order under King John. It's essentially Knights Templars that ride fucking dinosaurs.
See, now, and this is what I loved about this book, because I thought it was just a pack of dinosaurs were like coming into their camp and just attacking
But
at
nah, the
first.
Knight Templar are using dinosaurs to just kill people.
Yeah, and then I got to this page and I was like, okay, this is gonna be awesome.
All right, I'm in. I am 100% invested.
I mean,
But
Knights Templar, feathery dinosaurs, some crazy native dude with like a half-shaved head. I mean, what more can you ask for?
I mean, I have a list, but I don't think we'll get it. That pulls us into issue 2. Essentially, you get a little bit of backstory on the Knights Templar, and they call the dinosaurs dragons. So,
Which I thought was a nice little like historical continuity.
yeah, it's a nice little nod.
Yeah.
That's what they call dragons. And apparently, the commander's daughter is along on this crusade with him because that totally happened. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because you find out later that she's like the dinosaur tamer, and she's the one that has the best relationships with all the dinosaurs. But
Yeah, she's like Caesar Milano, but with giant man-eating lizards.
yeah, now one thing that kind of really struck me as weird is she wanted this native girl basically as a pet.
Yeah.
That kind of rubbed me very strangely, and it made me question what kind of like weird shit goes on in this girl's head. Like, I'm just gonna take this human being as a pet.
Yeah. What's her line? Like, I want this one
Uh
or
huh.
something like that.
Yeah, I want to keep this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. All
Like
right.
first she stops him from uh, shanking the native chick. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, she's gonna be kind of like that sympathetic character, like, oh, we need to understand these people. But no,
She's just a
she's
psychopath.
just, yeah. I was gonna use a word that starts with C.
Oh no, well she's a cunty psychopath. Um. Anyway, it it's a little convoluted, and you know, you get that, and she does get to keep the girl as a pet. Like that is a thing. So they do the whole "this is my name."
Yeah, pointing to themselves and saying their name a couple times.
Right, and you find out that Andar is the cousin's name. By the way, I did find that. But you find out that these two are pretty much the only ones in the tribe that haven't been captured or scattered, and they essentially are leading a rebellion, so to speak, at this point. Even though Turok doesn't really seem to give a shit about doing that.
Is it really a rebellion or more of like a rescue mission?
No, no, I think they try and strike back at one point in time. Like they try to Star
Well,
Wars it. It just doesn't
yeah.
work.
Well, I meant at this point, it's more of
Well,
a
this is a
rescue mission.
rescue mission, but as we move forward, because I'm not trying to pull up more than 6 or 7 pages out of any book, this is this is the beginning of the leadings of a rebellion. But you get also some some back and forth between the white girl and Marion, I believe is her name, and Kita, Kita,
Yeah,
Kita, Kita.
I'd say
Um,
keto.
yeah, Kita has no love for this white girl. She's like, everything in here stinks. No, that's just you. Do you not bathe? That was one of the funnier lines. But we also start to see that our boy
Something
here,
smells fishy in there.
yeah, we also start to see that our boy here has quite the knack for capturing and speaking with, not speaking, but empathizing with animals.
Yeah.
So they eventually do capture a dinosaur, and you don't know quite what happens. Like it's one of the ones that he thought was dead from his trap earlier, and it's not. So you start to see later that they are nursing it back to health, and they're leading people into
Well, at
traps and
first,
what.
Angor,
Andar,
Andar
yeah, wants to kill it.
wants to kill it, and then Tarak's like, no, 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 don't be a
Yeah,
dick.
yeah. Don't be a dick. It's not his fault. He's just hungry. But
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing.
then you get a little shot of some quicksand action. That's always
I did enjoy that greatly.
yeah. I mean, who's seen quicksand since the '80s, right?
Right. And I mean, and growing up watching like Indiana Jones and stuff,
yeah, everybody's
you really
backyard
thought,
had quicksand in it. You were just
yeah,
terrified of it,
you really thought quicksand would be a way bigger issue in adult life than it turned out to be.
right? Everybody walking around in fucking snowshoes just in case you find some random quicksand.
I kept some in the trunk of my car.
Yeah, but no, that's pocket sand. There's a difference. Pocket
I was
sand.
talking about snow. I was talking about snowshoes.
Oh, I was talking about cocaine. Moving on. We
Why do we always go back to cocaine on this show?
Andy Cokesy. Oh yeah, that's one we do have to show. One more page from this one before we move on to the next book. There we go.
Yes.
The big boy. Well, the big girl actually.
The motherfucking T-Rex.
That's right. They just kept
At
that
least I'm
on.
assuming it's a T-Rex.
They just kept that in the ship until they needed her. You know, She's just hanging out, but she's essentially their version of releasing the Kraken. And I was all in at this point. Like as soon as
Oh
I
yeah.
saw that, I was like, all right, yep, I'm gonna read the rest of this, even if we don't cover it on the show.
Now, now, do you think they had to draw straws to decide who had to go down there and like clean out the T Rex crap?
Uh, I don't know. I would just make a prisoner do it or something, right?
Well, I mean, they were at sea for so long.
These are white people. They always have privilege. It's just like a commodity over there. But like I say, at this point, I was pretty much all in with the story. Like once you get to the what do you call the T Rex just hanging out in the bottom of the ship, you don't get much better than that.
No, no, not really.
Um, let's see here. There we go.
As far as a hook goes for a comic book, it's kind of hard to beat that.
Yeah, I mean the Templars had T Rexes the whole time. um, we move into issue 3, and just some of the cover art, like just some of
Oh
the
yeah, the cover art's great.
yeah, just some of the cover art on this stuff is fantastic. Um, I'm not shit talking the regular art when I say that it's pretty much standard fare comic book art. Like it's pretty good. It's not terrible. There's some
Yeah,
great moments, but it's not anything amazing. Once you've seen stuff like you see in stuff like Dinosaurs versus Aliens, but again, this was another like monthly or weekly or bi-weekly comic, so I can understand the deadline to draw a whole lot of pretty pictures, and you eventually have to make concessions of having recognizable characters rather than hyper realistic detailed art.
right. And this was definitely more like character plot heavy
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Well, Greg Pak is one of the better writers that I've ever heard do anything for Marvel. Greg Pak, I believe. Let's do a little bit of background on him. I
To the
know
Google.
I know we're showcasing Dynamite comics, but I always kind of like to give artists and writers shout outs.
All right,
Uh,
Google,
all right, here
give
we
us your
go.
knowledge.
Oh yeah, he wrote Planet Hulk. What the hell are we talking about? We just read that. Of course, he's worked for Marvel. Um, but you open up and you get to see that the kid Turok is being asked to basically be the new leader of their tribe. And he gives this whole speech about what he thought the chief would say, and he eventually just looks at him and says, "But I don't believe any of that crap."
Yeah, he's like thanking the what does he refer to, like quote unquote God as? Do they say the creator?
Um, I don't remember the exact line, but I know that they were talking about. Yeah, I believe it was the creator.
Okay, yeah, like and we thank you, creator, that
Yeah,
for the night or for the day because we got to live, and for the night because the next day is coming, and goes through this whole big spiel, and he's like, yeah, but I don't believe it. Which, as an institution of worship, you must have found that a little offensive.
oh no, no, I'm an atheist myself. Yeah, I'm in it for the money, Jack.
you, you mean the tax write-off?
What's the difference? But you get a pretty cool like punk. I call this like a punk rock shot. I mean, it just kind of reminds me of like a punk rock album cover.
Yeah,
Knights Templar with a dinosaur and a pirate ship in the background. I mean, this is some shit out of nowhere, right?
I don't know if I'd say like straight punk rock. I'd say more like 2005 like pop punk.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
I think it stands.
Oh yeah.
But you find that they've got the girl captured. Kita basically just took her hostage, and her line was, I believe that how rude, while Kita was holding a knife to her throat. So she definitely got some screws loose, and there's a very interesting shot. I'm not going to show it because it's creepy and it makes me feel bad as a dad. But her father says something about, you know what happens when you get captured by natives, the savages that they are. You
Yeah,
can't
that
you can't
yeah,
marry off damaged goods.
yeah, that's the my one complaint about this story is the main Templar guy. I think they went a little too overboard with him.
Yeah, like he's bad, he's bad, he's bad.
Yeah,
Why don't you know that he's bad yet?
like it was kind of like light up neon signs like in the old movies when they're like walking down like the dark street and you see all the signs lighting up as they're walking, and just like
Right.
bad guy, he's a dick, bad guy.
Well,
I don't know, maybe if later on in the story maybe there's some sort of explanation to it because he's always talking about like wanting to find their gold and their treasure and stuff. So I'm wondering if there's going to be some sort of like that like gold fever sort of like mental like mental issue sort of thing. I'm wondering if that's kind of what they're going to do with it. I don't know. But I thought that was a little on the nose.
well, we can pick up and read the other two volumes. It's only
I'm
12
probably going to do it
issues.
anyways.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
probably
only.
going to do it anyways. So
Well, I know you are, but what am I? Um, but we get kind of a flash forward. I think this was published in what 2016, 2017, 2014. Um, so this was like a flash forward almost. You see the fish jumping out of the water there, eating the smaller fish. Well, there's a certain movie that came out 2017. Jurassic World, the giant
yeah,
fish. So it feels like there was a little bit of swiping going on of scenes here,
maybe a little bit.
but we find the raptor. That's what he looks like, right? He's a raptor.
Yeah, I'd say raptor.
Okay, they find the raptor that Turok nursed back to health, and Turok just buried him in a pit and used him as a trap of his own. Essentially, he's just feeding the dinosaur Templars that fall into the trap. So,
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, you could ride the dinosaur.
Spoilers, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. But there's only a couple more pages that I'm actually going to show out of this one. We need to go ahead and get on to the greatest escape. But I'll pull that one up because you have to show this
Oh yeah.
one. The noble knight that went out and searched for the princess.
The White Knight, you might say.
Mark Wade here was on his way to save Marion, and he was used as T-Rex bait, which is the way it should be
Right.
in Minecraft.
It. You beat me to it.
Look, man, it's my channel. I'm more worried about it than you are. All right, and last but not least, my spoiler from earlier. You get the
From 45 seconds ago.
yeah, you get the that jump on the back of the raptor and ride away from the T-Rex scene. It's very, very gratuitous, but
It is, but it's so badass.
it is. It gives you an idea that Turok is not somebody. He's essentially prehistoric Jon Snow. But all in all, I mean, this is a pretty great comic. We've got one more volume to cover in it, and this is probably one of my favorite covers of them all. To be completely
Yeah.
honest with you, uh, cover to issue 4 is just spectacular. But the end of issue 3, Turok essentially led the T Rex back to home base. So that's what you get is Turok riding into the camp on the Raptor, leading the T Rex back towards the captain. Yeah, and this book is basically one giant like fight scene and run scene because now nobody can handle the T Rex. Right? The T Rex is just out of control. The captain's plan is just wait for it to eat, and then we'll sneak up on it and chain it again. The other guys are like, good luck with that. That's probably
Yeah.
not going to work out the way you thought it had. He ate my horse. Well, he's still hungry.
Kind of makes you wonder how he became in charge of this racket.
Um, politics worked that way back then.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, we'll skip ahead again and just kind of finish this book up. But essentially, the T Rex is going ape shit, and it sets the Templars on the run. Well, little little Miss Princess takes the Templars to where the natives are hiding, Turok's people, and
Because she's a cunt.
yeah they break in and proceed to fuck shit up and threaten to throw a kid, and they do throw a dog out. Well, Turok dresses up like a Templar and saves the puppy because you're always an asshole if you kill a dog.
Yeah.
But
What about Boomer?
right, the kid obviously doesn't get killed, but the puppy is saved as well by Turok. So
Yes, which just proves that he's a good guy.
he is. He's the best character. If you don't let the dog die, you're doing good. If the dog dies, John Wick is coming for you. All in all, I really like this story.
Oh yeah, it was a blast.
Turok rides off across the river by himself. I guess I'll go ahead and pull up the last shot that I was talking about earlier with the what do you call the fish dinosaur.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called.
There we go. Go ahead and get that up there. Um, and I believe this is why this is while Turok was trying to get across the river by himself, abandoning his people, so to speak, because he just keeps saying alone is better. I'd be interested in picking up Volume 2 and seeing where that goes.
Yeah, kind of his mantra.
Yeah. So. Oh, my wife's in the chat. So is Atomic Denny.
What's up, Mrs. Church and Denny?
I know I'm lame, Mrs. Church.
Why is she calling you lame?
Because we're talking about dinosaur comics, I'm sure.
How is that lame?
We are going to do Johnny the Homicidal Maniac as long as you don't keep calling us lame.
Yeah.
But this is this kind of story. It makes me want to pick up the rest of it. I mean, it does make me want to finish reading it.
Oh, definitely.
All in all, this is probably the most recommendable story out of anything we've read this week.
Yeah.
Not to take away from the good stuff that's in either of the other stories, but this is the kind of book that I think more people would be interested in reading than any of the other two. Like I said, I'll get to that at the end once we start going over the Greatest Adventure, because if that's not a fucking ride, I don't know what is.
Right.
But let's just go ahead and get that pulled up. While I do, though, what are your thoughts on this book?
Overall, same sort of thing. I really, really enjoyed it. Besides the main Templar dude being a little on the nose, which I'm hoping there will be a payoff for that later in the story. Uh, Other than that, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I really did enjoy it.
And I hope the raptor dinosaur kind of sticks around and kind of becomes his sidekick.
Well, does it not feel a little bit like Jurassic World was based on that comic book?
Oh, oh yeah. If you put in that scene where he's running and then the raptor runs up next to him, if you put him on a motorcycle, that's that jungle scene.
Right. Um, but that'll bring us into the Greatest Adventure. Now, this is a, I guess, a team up story. I mean, this is one of those books that you have to read the page twice to get what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
But that's kind of complimentary to Bill Willingham's writing. Like you don't necessarily retain everything the first time you look at it because so much is happening. Like I still have no idea who half these people are, and I've read stories with all of them in it before. Like I believe this is my first. God, I got to stop saying I believe. You made me notice it now, and it bothers me. Oh, I hate you for that. You're fired.
What? Twice in one show?
One show, twice in one show. You're rehired again. I'm not doing this by myself. Um, we're not going to go over all 6 issues of this, I don't think, um, because we don't
it's a
have.
lot to digest.
Yeah, we would have to do a show on just the 9 issues that exist of this. I think is what we're gonna do. But this is Bill Willingham with who is it on art? Cesar Razak, and I can't take anything away from the guy. Great artwork, great backgrounds, um, great expression work, good line work, good shading. I got nothing bad to say about these. The covers are beautiful. Um, some of them are very cheesecakey, I'll say. But the main the main emphasis of this, I think, man, we would need to get into issue 3, I think, but I'll just kind of I'll pull it up in the side chat and not the side chat, the side screen, and we'll get to it when we get there.
Yeah.
But this is just to prove that this has dinosaurs in it. But this is a whole different kind of beast, and it's a very conflicting kind of story for me because I love them personally, but it's because I have an affinity for all the characters involved. This is almost an anthology type book, except it's all one story, and it's all characters from the public domain. Edgar Rice Burroughs' "Heroes and Heroines Unite" is the tagline on the cover of issue 1, and that's stuff like John Carter of Mars, which I'm sure half of the people in the audience have no clue who any of these guys are really, except for maybe Tarzan. But Denny, I think
Well,
Elias was going to do an art stream, but I think he had a couple of things just kind of shit the bed on him. So uh, I just follow his Twitter and figure out what he's got going on. Um, just to see. See when he's rescheduling that or if he's doing it later. I'm not really sure. I did see something about it, but then I see he changed some stuff around, so I'm a little confused myself. Anyway, back to the Greatest Adventure. Um, let me just pull up the page. You know the page I'm talking about, the one at the end.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the rest of it, but I don't even really know where to begin starting to explain this story. There's just so much happening at one time.
Me either, and this is the one I read most recently, as in this morning before work.
But basically, by the end of issue 1, you have this ensemble of characters, and all of
And
them.
this is what we mean by wordy.
Yeah. Um, honestly, all of them are fairly recognizable in themselves. From left to right, you've got Miriam Clayton. You've got Korak the Killer, the son of Tarzan. You got Jason Gridley, who's the main character. Well, him and Tarzan, really. Uh, Billy Burns. You've got Bridge, the Oskaloosa Kid, all Western characters. You've got Barney Custer and Victoria Custer. The subtitles under Barney is Sometimes King of Lutra. That was interesting. You got Jim Stone, Kalani, the weird name, but I've read Kalani before. Townsend Harper, Virginia Maxon, Jane Clayton, the wife of Tarzan, and Tarzan. And then Tarzan's little drop down is more impressive than anybody else's. Oh, not to forget Julian the Second. He's kind of hidden. You can only see the side of his head. But Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, also known as John Clayton, Lord Greystroke, Captain of the Expedition. So you got Johnny Lafitte, the writer, Shannon Burke, and Ulysses Packton, the man from Mars. I'll go ahead and spoil this for you. They also introduced John Carter of Mars. Since I said that earlier. That's what pretty much the first 6 issues are about, is going to rescue John Carter.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew Tarzan and John Carter. Those were the only 2 characters out of
Well,
all these people that I knew.
These are all old school adventure and pulp heroes. And I believe they are all Edgar Burroughs written works. But this is a very League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type book. If you saw League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the movie, know that it was spawned from a comic book written by Alan Moore. And that's going on the list, by the way.
Good.
But
actually, I've been wanting to read it. Well, actually, because I knew it was a comic book.
It's a series. There's no reading it.
Well, you know what I mean.
But there's also, it's a lot different than the movie too. Just a lot of the characters and stuff. But they eventually come together. Tarzan puts out an ad in the paper. That's the plot device. And all of these people fly in from all over the world to basically get themselves killed.
Within a day.
Oh yeah. This all happens in 3 days. They make a spaceship.
Now, should we rewind a little bit?
No.
As to why they're doing it?
Yes, I guess we should, but I'm not going through all the images. I'm sorry.
That would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I love you guys, and if I wasn't as tired as I was, I would go through this book like we normally do. But I'm thumbing through it right now, and first off, you can't really tell some of the characters apart a lot of the times. That is one gripe I have with the art, but that's another thing you have going on when you've got this many characters in a book that are introduced in issue 1. It took me longer to read this one issue than it did to read the entirety of Aliens versus Dinosaurs. And I paid close attention to the art. But I really do love stories like this, and that's why I say that it's kind of it's a conflicting thing.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I love League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I love these characters. I like the fact that they brought these characters together, and that Tarzan is the go-to guy against. I guess that go ahead and start into the backstory before I
Yeah.
just start rambling on about the end.
So, was it Girdley?
Yeah, Jason Gridley.
Gridley. So basically, it opens with him crashing into Africa when he was initially trying to get to California, but his craft messed up and he had to crash land in Africa. And then Tarzan's like, "What the hell happened, man?" And then he explains that he has a device called the Gridley Wave. Is there?
Love that. What?
I wasn't sure if I was missing something.
No, Gridley Wave. I love Gridley Wave. And then every time they say it, I'm like, that's what she named it.
Yeah, it is kind of.
Uh,
But so he gets a letter from a scientific something or another that want him to give a speech, but it turns out it was a ruse and he gets abducted by some race of aliens from somewhere. And at first the leader like, yeah, we're really interested in your technology, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada, and we want you to incorporate your technology into ours. And he finds out that they want to use it to make basically like a Death Star laser
yeah.
that can
Um,
that can destroy anything from anywhere in
and
the universe.
and just
And then he escapes, and they're trying to stop him, stop the alien guys that just look like humans. So this is probably going to get confusing at one point or another.
Ruskev. Ruskev is the bad guy.
Ruskev?
Ruskev.
Yeah.
Roskov or something.
There were
It's
so many
Russian.
names. There
Yeah.
were so many names in this
There
in this
are.
book.
This is the kind of book you literally have to just be willing to spend an afternoon, sit down, and just read. If you don't have that kind of time, then this isn't the book for you. That's why I said that I think Turok is the most suggestible book out of all three of these. But they're all
Yeah.
three fantastic in their own way.
Yeah, it's good. I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong with my
No,
kind of
and
kind of quick synopsis, but it was a lot to take in.
yeah, and you're swapping between perspectives of so many characters, and there are a lot of moments where you get emotion from certain characters that it kind of gives you an idea on who they are, but because there's so many people, there's not enough time to actually spend developing. So it does
Yeah.
kind of expect you to either just go with it or to have a background knowledge, at least to a certain degree, on who these characters
Yes, and
are.
I just had to go with it.
Right. One thing I was going to get at, the Gridley Wave is basically a telephone from here to Mars. So I don't know
Okay.
why. I don't know why um, the Russian was trying to use that for a Death Star weapon. I don't know why he thought Jason Gridley would figure out that he was making a weapon. But I mean, I guess plot device. But this again, this is Bill Willingham's work, and I've been a big fan of him ever since I discovered who he was. Willingham wrote the Fables storyline. We talked about that briefly, I think, off air. But Fables is another work where you use public domain characters from fairy tales or fables,
Yeah.
but you write them into situations that really have nothing to do with their original stories. Like the Big Bad Wolf is a werewolf. and he's also a cop. In Fables, uh, who is the who was it that was the mayor? Not Riding Hood. Anyway, Snow White and Rose Red. Snow White and Rose Red were sisters.
It sounds like that. What was that stupid show that was like all the storybook characters?
Oh, God, don't say that. My wife loves that show.
Sorry, Mrs. Church.
But I know what you're talking about. Ever After? Happily Ever? No, not Happily Ever After.
No. Once Upon a Time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of like that, but I think it's better because there's more
Well,
humor to it.
yeah.
They don't
And
take.
it's not a TV drama for women.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything, sweetie. It's all him.
I'll disavow myself.
I'll fire him again if you want me to. One in the chat if I should fire Ayrton again. Oh, there's only one person watching right now. So.
Well, that's not fair.
I just put a 1 in the chat. Gives you enough of a back